Peruvian legends tell of the first ancestors, beings from ancient times before humans existed. These entities were neither gods nor spirits, but lived during the dawn of time. Some knowledge of them survived through the reverence of Wak'as, intelligent, powerful, inorganic entities believed to coexist with humans, though they remain invisible most of the time. These beliefs resemble those of the Japanese kami. Kami are not separate from nature, but are considered part of it, embodying both good and bad characteristics. They are manifestations of the universe's energy. Like Wak'as, kami are believed to exist in a hidden but twin realm. These beliefs are also similar to the Aesir in Old Norse mythology. The Aesir were seen as an earlier version of the world, predating humanity. The term Aesir could also refer to local deities believed to reside in natural landmarks, such as mountains and hills. Interestingly, the medieval word for thunderstorm in modern Swedish is likely connected to the belief in Thor's thunderous chariot rides across the skies. This could be a poetic link to ancient electric storms, which, as physicists proposed, may have sparked the creation of inorganic life forms like fireballs and led to the origins of all organic life. Creation myths often describe humanity not as a new creation, but as a separation from human-like beings who gradually lost their human features. In one version of the Australian Aranda myth, two beings called self-existing used a stone to separate fused, shapeless lumps at the bottom of the primordial ocean. These lumps, resembling formless spheres, contained the beginnings of human bodies. The name self-existing interestingly mirrors modern concepts of self-organized properties seen in plasmas and phenomena like ball lightning. Such core ideas of inorganic life can be traced back in mythologies from many cultures worldwide. While some may dismiss these stories as, well, just stories, open scientific research on unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UFOs, may offer insights that could connect these ancient ideas to the very old phenomenon persisting till present days. In this paper, two researchers from the Harvard UAP Scientific Investigation Project report on a 10-month field study conducted along the U.S. East Coast. Using a camper van fitted with a variety of advanced sensors, they gathered data on a strange phenomenon that can't be easily explained and still remains a mystery. Quote, "Since July of 2022, we observed a light phenomenon that most often presented itself as a spheroid under a luminous state. While under decreased luminosity, it seemed to display a polyhedral appearance morphologically. Fewer sightings appeared as ovaloid and cylindroid. These observations displayed unusual flight characteristics, extreme velocities, and long periods of inactivity, appearing stationary. These objects also displayed unusual physical characteristics, fluctuating states of reflectiveness, glinting, rotation, variations in spectral range, and change of state from luminous to illuminous." End of quote.
So here's the interesting thing is they won't necessarily be on every system. This is where we believe there's some kind of signature management with these objects. Occasionally they would be visible or to be very vague. Most of the time we wouldn't see them visibly with the eyes or with a typical camera.
Eyeballs, you know.
Yeah, we would have to. Most of the time they would be in the infrared. It would be near infrared or shortwave infrared. And the interesting thing is there were times that if you saw them in the near infrared or the visible, they would suddenly look like they disappear. But we'd find it in another piece of equipment that would show up in the shortwave infrared.
When we were looking at these objects, whether they were both visible and near infrared and IR, they were not in the long wave, the thermal. There's the shortwave infrared and there's the long wave. The long wave is actually producing all the heat.
That's what you see with FLIR systems.
So with the FLIR systems, this is something that was absent. We weren't able to see anything in the FLIR.
Yeah, because we tried to look for a silhouette of a structure that was producing this light, and there was nothing there. Nothing showed up on the FLIR, which is I don't know. It's not typical. It's not something that
would be very difficult to do.
Yeah, you would have to try to match the background temperature in order to not see that.
I mean, even a fraction of a degree difference, you would see a differential between the object and the background, the background radiation, the background heating. The fact that you saw nothing, means that this object had to have been at the same exact temperature as the background.
And in our mind, it could be another form of signature management.
Researchers reported there were instances where we observed more bizarre features, such as luminous objects suddenly appearing and rising from or out of the ground, where none had been seen previously. Occasionally, we would see them sitting on the ocean surface or passing beneath it without disturbing that medium and any sounds. We then wondered if these objects had any solid, loosely dense, or non-physical mass. End of quote. This light phenomenon sometimes shows swarm-like behavior, unlike normal air traffic, and could not be tracked by standard air traffic monitoring systems. Most of the light emitted by these objects is invisible to humans.
Completely invisible to the naked eye. Completely invisible to it. These objects were they had luminous energies that were, if you were going to compare it, it would be as bright sometimes as the moon.
Yeah.
There was a lot of luminous energy coming from these objects, but they were in the infrared.
Yeah.
There was nothing in the visible light, and the only way we could detect it was on our infrared system that was inside the RV, and of course our portable night vision cameras. And this is something that, there was 4 of us that viewed these things, and none of us could see anything in the visible spectrum.
Researchers reported the relative size of them was 1.5 meters to 3.0 meters in diameter. There were moments when these objects demonstrated an awareness of us, and some level of organization, intelligence, and even interaction.
And we tried to elicit a response by moving the light back and forth across this object.
And occasionally flashing at it.
The interesting thing is that we did have a reaction from it. So what I saw was a rectangular beam of light that very quickly moved toward the shore. And the only thing I could surmise is that it was a part of something. It was part of an object. It was part of something
that was
emitting this infrared light. When I put the camera up, I could see this bright light, and it moved very quickly to the shore within a couple of seconds. But the light itself there's no doubt about it. It was not visible. It wasn't visible. It was in the infrared spectrum.
Yeah, it was infrared.
That light, as it moved to the shore, we started to have intermittent problems with the cameras. The cameras didn't function properly.
Yeah. So that's when I noticed that, of course, we started to run to get away from it because it was on top of us at that point.
Yeah. So I experienced it first, and then Gerald did. It was a very momentary, short-term paralysis. From the waist down, I fell to the sand.
Yeah, John collapsed on the sand.
I couldn't coordinate my legs under me to pick myself back up. This lasted roughly about 45 seconds.
Yeah.
And Gerald reached down to try to
so what's wrong? He says,
and
he was saying, I can't move. We actually have a video where you can hear him saying that. He was struggling to get up. He couldn't put his legs underneath him. I went to grab and pull him back up. We both started to move. He was starting to get strength back in his legs, and my legs collapsed. I fell on the beach. I had no. It was to me. It was like a flaccid paralysis. There was no strength in my legs. I couldn't coordinate my legs.
Yeah, coordination.
So I had to drag my hands through the sand to try to move.
Well, and then also the camera equipment at the time was recording.
I turned the camera back as I fell, and my camera recorded a wave of IR energy that was engulfing us and engulfing the camera. And that's the last thing that we have on of course, on my camera.
Interestingly enough, they noticed a clear connection between electromagnetic signals and ultrasonic sounds during the event. Both followed a regular pattern, hinting at a rare link between these two. The presence of ultrasonic sounds is particularly interesting, as it links directly to the ancient megalithic structures like dolmens and menhirs, as well as the electronic voice phenomenon previously discussed in this video. Their investigation confirmed a stealth factor, which explains why these phenomena remain mysterious. Often labeled as UFOs, UAPs, ghost lights, phantoms, entities, and the paranormal, most objects observed were primarily in the infrared spectrum with no major heat signatures. What's also interesting is the extent of such inorganic life, as these objects may not be confined to Earth's atmosphere or even to deeper layers of the planet. In a study released by Dr. Beatrice Villarroel and the VASCO team, they discovered 9 transients on 1950s astronomical plates that appeared and suddenly vanished within 30 minutes. These transients appeared in geosynchronous orbits around the Earth before the advent of manufactured artificial satellites were launched into space. We can't say for sure these are all the same objects, but the similarities suggest an interesting possibility that this kind of inorganic life forms extend beyond Earth's atmosphere. In this paper, a team of 11 scientists presented their research focused on exploring this question. They write, quote, "Interstellar space and the upper atmosphere of Earth are permeated by plasmas. Plasmas are believed to constitute a fourth state of matter and may represent a form of pre-life or inorganic non-biological life. As detailed in this report, pulsating glowing plasmas up to 1 kilometer in size and behaving similarly to simple multicellular organisms have been filmed over 200 miles above Earth within the thermosphere by 10 separate space shuttle missions. These glowing, pulsating plasmas grow in size, replicate, are attracted to, and intersect one another, often releasing kilometers in length plasma dust trails in their wake. Yet others engage in what appears to be hunter-predatory behaviors. They display all the characteristics of lifelike plasmas as defined by Alvain, Teodorani, Loznanu and Sanduloviciu and Tsairovich. These extraterrestrial plasmas filmed in the thermosphere may represent a non-biological form of pre-life before the acquisition of RNA and then DNA. Further, when they descend into the lower atmosphere, they would likely be classified as UFOs and UAP when observed." End of quote. This video compilation from multiple NASA shuttle camera feeds shows pulsating, glowing plasmas up to 1 kilometer wide behaving like simple multicellular organisms. These inorganic life forms are drawn to electromagnetic storms, gathering by the hundreds above hurricanes miles below. When they do, the hunt begins. Predators wiggle and shift, hitting other plasma prey along their path. A hierarchy may exist, with some predators striking several creatures, while some hunters only strike a few. This behavior appears in over a dozen scenes in the film. Many of these plasmas act like living organisms, showing complex interactions, turning, following, making sharp 45 or 90-degree turns, even reversing direction, demonstrating behaviors and intelligence of simple life forms. Common to these plasma entities is to be drawn to electromagnetic activity, whether thunderstorms or, as in the Space Shuttle mission STS-75 case, to a 12-mile tether generating intense electromagnetic fields. Like moths to a flame, hundreds, even thousands of these plasma organisms swarmed around, interacting with each other, and even moving along the tether. This display of purposeful, coordinated behavior provides compelling evidence of inorganic life forms in space, far beyond what could be expected from mere space debris or ice crystals.
Through the binoculars, and the best way I can describe it is there's some kind of reflective cloth or with a metallic-looking type of cloth of a structure that's definitely not rigid, or it's not a solid metal structure. It started over window 8, then quickly moved towards the nose of the orbiter, and we tracked it through windows 1, 2, 3, 4, and now it's out about window 5. It's moving away. Window flash. The light flashing off the 15 there. That was me. What? I just thought of it in my imagination. Yeah, I saw it too, so it's not. There was 2 of them. There's another one. What are they? Let me show the lights flickering in here. They're taking pictures. What is this? There's this thing passing in front of us.
Okay, we're seeing 3 or 4 objects. Can you confirm that it's just the one that's actually moving? The other ones are just reflections?
No, there are 3 objects. The one you see 2 rings right there. They're the ones we kind of had the lake tally-ho on. The one down the bottom, that was the one we initially saw.
Their behavior resembles that of various single-cell life forms on Earth. Yet these plasma entities are much larger, spanning meters to even kilometers. Our planet is surrounded by 2 extremely ancient cosmic dust clouds called Kordylewski Clouds, considered by some scientists to be complex dust plasmas. These clouds, like ghost satellites, reside at gravitationally stable points between the Earth and Moon. In this paper, the authors raise an intriguing question. Could the Kordylewski dust clouds be cosmic superbrains? In other words, could these clouds be a candidate for inorganic life in space? The researchers suggest that the answer is yes. In their paper, they argue that these dust clouds made of charged dust particles may exhibit the self-organization and complexity seen in other living systems that evolve from chaos to order. They write that the cloud appeared to be dynamic and contained within it smaller dust clouds, perhaps displaying a cellular-like structure. In other words, be an organic life form in space. Their dynamic structure forms and dissipates within the larger cosmic electrical networks, possibly acting as hosts for smaller entities. If so, these clouds could be transit hosts for different forms of electronic life, temporarily sheltering these entities as they drift through space, much like organisms that harbor parasites and predators in immature stages before they move on to their final hosts or destinations in deep space. Ken Shoulders predicted that electronic life forms could flourish in environments where conventional atomic structures fall short, leading to a new kind of supercommunicative existence. Shoulders also believed that pure electron entities can also be alien and have already begun long ago in regions of the universe unknown to us, and could evolve far faster than biological species. Even more interestingly, a needed substance for them had been available on Earth all along, and probably long before biological substance was available. Many legends and stories can be interpreted as references to such life forms. One example is a landed inorganic entity described by the shaman in Castaneda's book as an alien otherworldly flyer. These flyers, as he explained, are inorganic beings, scouts or explorers from the depths of the universe, possessing awareness far superior to that of humans. Shaman explains that they are akin to humans in certain ways. Sorcerers of ancient Mexico viewed them as predators, though, like dark shadows that move through the air and land flat on the ground. He added that they can sometimes be seen, especially by children, though they are often blocked from memory due to their terrifying appearance. But now we have the tools to reveal what was once invisible. Scientists from the main astronomical observatory in Ukraine published an independent study on UAP using 2 meteor stations. Their analysis revealed objects revealing flyers that appear as dark shadows, which they referred to as phantoms. These objects are estimated to be over 100 meters in size and detectable for only a fraction of a second. Astronomers observed both single and grouped flights of these oval-shaped shadows, ranging from 20 to 100 meters and moving at speeds of 2 to 30 kilometers per second. Quote, "Let us make an important remark about the features of the object. The colors of the object and the background are the same, but the object has less brightness compared to the sky background. The brightness of an object varies with distance. The object does not reflect or emit light. In a sense, it is invisible. It becomes visible due to the fact that it shields the scattered light of the sky behind it." End of quote.
So in Ken Shoulders' experiments and also in natural ball lightning, you can find that they change state, the black state and the white state. And an individual ball lightning can change back and forth between these states. And when the state is white, then they're very active and they can cause holes and tunnels and electrical shocks, and they can explode. But when the state is dark, in the black state, then they're very, very difficult to detect, and they can go through materials, glass or any other material, as if they, without any interaction with the material, or very, very little interaction. So here's the states. You can see the ring that the black ring is backlit by the bright light behind it, right? So that's why you can see a ring there. You can sort of the outline of the object, but you can't actually see the object. The object is black, right? Because it's in the black state. But I believe that these black objects can change state to a white state, and then they can change back.
August 24th, 2018, Ukraine. Object 9252 was detected during sky monitoring in the Golosiev district of Kiev. The object moved at a speed of about 31.8 kilometers per second. The size is estimated to be about 94 meters. The object was shot in the falling sunlight, but it looked like a dark spot in the background of a bright sunny day sky. They also presented evidence of other phantoms, dark shadow-like objects similar to flyers. Some, as noted in the paper, were even visible to the naked eye. In their conclusion, they wrote, "All we can say about phantoms is coming from the part of space that lies outside Earth and its atmosphere, means belonging or relating to the universe." The Kordylewski Clouds paper turns to a striking possibility. These vast dust clouds in space might represent an advanced form of inorganic life. The authors propose that these clouds could even develop self-awareness and act as cosmic superbrains, indicating that biological intelligence may not be the pinnacle of evolution, but rather part of a larger continuum that extends into the very ancient tradition of inorganic life forms. They explain that it is possible because the mean distance between neighboring particles is very short, and yielding the possibility of interparticle communication if electromagnetic signals can be exchanged. These clouds could have other remarkable features. Authors proposed that dust particles in Kordylewski clouds, similar in size to bacteria, could be biological, given the abundance of organic compounds in space. They suggest that bacterial particles, coated with semiconducting siliceous mantles, could enhance interparticle electronic connectivity. Similar to how human cells function as collective intelligences composed of many parts, viruses and bacteria might act as agents contributing to the complexity of emerging intelligence as a hybrid inorganic entity in space. If the presence of a significant biological component in Kordylewski and other clouds is confirmed, it could suggest they play a role in spreading life across the universe. These particles might serve as carriers, seeding planets like Earth with the essential ingredients needed to form early ecosystems. Now, these clouds also would contain an intricate combination of charged dusty plasma in gaseous, liquid, and crystal states, with regions separated from each other by sheaths and double layers, and containing superconducting filaments. As discussed earlier, double layers in plasma not only act as membranes, they can store memory, and plasma crystals with their special memory marks have the same capability. However, information is not just stored. It also flows in between dusty plasma filaments that are arranged in spirals, much like the structure of human DNA. We might view the Kordylewski clouds as highly structured, intelligent systems capable of storing and processing information, with many surprising features yet to be discovered. This leads researchers to metaphorically refer to the Kordylewski dust clouds as gigantic plasma balls, similar to ball lightning, but on an immense cosmic scale. They write, "It is often said anecdotally that the human brain contains more neurons than there are observable stars in the night sky. But the human brain only fits inside a small skull. A stable, dusty, complex plasma ball of immense size, which has possibly endured for eons and experienced continual growth and expansion over countless millennia, is in principle capable of developing something resembling a much more complex nervous system than a human brain with its average lifetime of 100 years. A complex dust cloud, which has existed for many millions of years, might even have become self-aware, with all that this implies. It is conceivable that Fred Hoyle's fictional black cloud has a reality in the context of Kordylewski clouds, which of course he could not have recognized in 1957." End of quote. Considering all this, Kordylewski dust clouds might be viewed as potential candidates for space-based inorganic plasma life, while dusty plasmas from ball lightning events on Earth could represent terrestrial inorganic life. Both phenomena have the ability to self-organize and basically create themselves. Both are usually invisible to us. What if both organic and inorganic living systems are nested like patterns in Escher's drawings within a larger intelligent grid? What if skies are intelligent and the living cosmos drives the meaning of life, its logic, and its fundamental physics, Considering the vast complexity of the universe, there could be many more forms of intelligence much weirder than we can currently comprehend. And the high likelihood of inorganic life suggests that intelligent beings need not be embodied.